everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. We're back. I'm LaShayla Dawson.
I'm Tania. Welcome to Tipping the Scales. We're back. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
We're
I
back.
really like using LaShayla. I don't know.
Me too.
Now that I'm older, it's so weird to
I
say
love
LaShayla.
LaShayla. I think it's super cute.
Yeah.
My water over out the way.
And if it's your first time, I'm AKA Shay, but LaShayla is my name
Her
given by my mother.
government name.
As my stepdaughter would say, her government name.
Her government name. What's up? Happy day. I love happy recording day. I love when we're behind the mic. So it's always
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of exciting stuff happening.
And
Just came from the draft.
I know. I saw your pics. You look so
Literally.
cute. Super
Like,
cute.
literally 3 the hard way. They said 3, Scooter Henderson, 4, Amin Thompson, 5, Asar
I know,
Thompson.
like, back I kept and the funny thing is I kept texting you, like,
Was
numbers. I kept texting all the numbers, like, "Shay, oh my god, let's go, T."
It was amazing. It was amazing. I can't even describe the feeling. Obviously, I've shared that feeling with you.
Yeah.
And it just never gets old. It always feels like the first time.
Mhm.
When you've seen a family and a
Yeah,
player, grow through the game
yeah.
and finally reach their dream, their culminating moment.
It's
Like everybody thinks that they're gonna be like calm, but it's like it's
no,
not that way, right, T?
no, it's like a surreal moment. When I was watching, supporting your guys, and of course I wanted to see, who the Nets picked up too.
Yep.
So I was, like, watching, and I don't know, it's just I was seeing all the moms, they were just how excited they were and
Mhm.
choked up and crying because they know that their sons have been waiting their whole lives for this moment and
Right.
how like the build up and it's finally here. I don't know. It's just like it had me all choked up all over again because it's exciting, but yet it's such a pivotal moment in their lives because this is something that they've been working so hard for a long period of time.
Yeah,
And it's finally
exactly.
and your dreams finally came true, so
Yeah,
yeah.
and it was cool to see the faces of the boys because they act so cool, like,
And
like,
they're
"Oh,
like
yeah," it just they act so cool, and then when the moment happens, it
yeah.
just like they become a kid again all over, like, in their
Yep.
face and their body language and the way
Uh-huh.
they hug their mom and their
Oh,
dad. It's like,
yeah.
wow, like, it's just literally one of the best feelings ever, and it's crazy because it's not my direct blood or my family, but you spend so much time with them and talking to them and trying to get them prepared, and
Yeah.
then one day it happens and it's like,
It's amazing.
it's
And
amazing.
and not just getting prepared, but you develop genuine
Yeah,
relationships,
yeah.
and
Genuine love and joy
yeah.
for what
Yeah.
someone is experiencing.
And
Yeah.
it's like when they get to that point and they make it, it's like, I don't know, like you just feel like a proud mama bear, even though of course
Yes!
you're not like the mom, but it's a different feeling.
Yes.
It's something that you just can't it's hard to articulate because you're filled with so many different emotions, but
Yeah.
those relationships that you cultivate and which, I always give you a shout out on just how great you are because,
Thanks.
it takes a certain person to be able to fit in with the family dynamics and really be such a strong force that you make it comfortable for people to entrust their
Mm.
loved ones with you. And
Mm.
that's a big deal, right? Because
Ooh.
as a parent, that's very hard for me. I have a handful of folks I'm trusting my guy with, and that's a big deal. So the fact that
Yeah.
you are capable of cultivating those relationships that people trust you with their loved ones, that is like everything. So shout out to
Thank
you
you.
for doing that, boo.
Thank you. That is, one of the best compliments that I could ever get.
No,
It's literally my intention. It's what I love to do, and it's awesome that it's received that way, so
well,
I appreciate
well,
that.
congrats, mama. Well,
Thanks, boo.
speaking of intention, it's
Yeah.
really time for us to be intentional about many things in our life, right? Like now, as we are vastly approaching July, it's time for us to do a mid-year check-in in every
Okay,
aspect of our life. Like there's so
okay.
many different components to our lives, right?
Yeah.
It's time for us to do a mid-year check-in. Yesterday I spent like first of all, my whole entire Saturday in the ER, like, and this is the things I was thinking about my entire
What?
Saturday. So this past week, it's been like a week, which is because for me to go to the ER is serious because I don't even like
I
going.
know.
Plus, I understand the importance of ER is there for life-threatening things, and sometimes
Yeah.
people go to the ER for the wrong reason. So I'm always mindful about what I'm going there for.
Yeah.
But I have not been able to like hold food, like eat or drink for like a week. And, yesterday was like the seventh day. I was like, all right. And the stomach cramps were so significant.
Yeah.
It literally felt like I was passing like a kidney stone or something. Like the only thing I can refer that pain to were contractions because that was like legit real. And that's what they felt like. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to go. And I
Yeah.
had got super weak and lightheaded. And I was like, which is probably dehydration because I couldn't eat or drink. So I
Did
went
you
to the
drive yourself?
hospital. Yep, I went there. And the good news is that like it was nothing like blocking. I got to go get some other MRIs and some deeper tests done. So I'm gonna prioritize getting that done. I canceled my Chicago trip, so I can prioritize getting that done Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
But but it made me realize how we have to be checking in on everything, right? And,
Yeah.
the first thing is our health because we oftentimes prioritize everything above that. We're like, oh, we're okay. Like, how often are you going to get physicals? How often do you
Yeah.
listen to your body where your body's like, oh, you know what? Something's not quite right here and we put it off, we put it off, we put it off. So it's super important that we check in. And a big part of that is listening to our bodies and being very much proactive. Like, don't be reactionary with your health. Like, don't wait until something's wrong and then you go to the doctors.
You
You got to be
preaching.
very much proactive and
I need to.
right and scheduling those appointments. So, for those of you who are listening or watching, like, when was the last time you had a physical? So,
Yeah.
schedule your physical. If you are a female and you're listening, what's the last time you went to your OBGYN doctor? Right? Like, that's something we have to do annually. Is for some of us, it's semi-annually because of, whatever conditions you may have and or family history. So, like for me, I have to go like twice a year. So that's super important, and
Mhm.
so when was the last time? If you are now, I think they changed the age. It used to be 50, that now you have to check to make sure you don't have like a rectal cancer or something like that. Or so you have to get a what is it, colposcopy?
Col
No, no.
colonoscopy.
Colonoscopy. Sorry, colposcopy is something else women related. Sorry, I had to get one of those before too. There's always a lot of
Colonoscopy.
poking and prodding going on my body, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
yes, you have to get your colposcopy at 45 now. Oh,
Colonoscopy.
no, shit. Colonoscopy. So I went in and checked, like, I have like all my doctors are Penn. So I went in my Penn Health
Oh,
and
Penn's a
it,
great,
right.
great
And it just
hospital,
was
yeah.
like, your test is outstanding. I was like, oh, geez. Okay. And I guess because once, now that I'm over 45,
Yeah,
it's like, it's time to get it done. So I say all that to preface that take your health seriously. And if you didn't at the beginning of the year, it's perfect time. Mid year check in. Step one,
I
prioritize your
need to
health.
okay, yeah. So you're talking to me too. I definitely need to get a physical.
Yeah.
I
Blood work.
definitely
When the last time you had blood work?
uh, probably before I or probably when I left Philly. I probably gotta go again. I've been
What's
go
how long ago was that?
It's only been like 2 years.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
not
I left
not
Philly like 2
crazy.
years ago.
But yeah,
No, no,
just
it's
checking
not
your
crazy.
iron and your
Yeah, well,
yeah,
iron for sure. I'm iron deficient. I
yeah.
do take iron pills, but
Okay, great.
I do know that I'm getting older and that my body is changing. We talked about this in our last
Aging.
episode on aging.
Yeah, check it out if you haven't done so
And I
already.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Go check the library out.
Huh?
And there's times when I have thoughts of like when, things change that I have
Yeah,
these the worst possible thoughts of like, "Oh my god." And it's the fear sometimes of what it could be that keep you from going.
yeah.
So thank you
But
for
yeah.
that
But it's
reminder,
better to
and
know than not to know and
yeah,
have
that's what
something
my mom always says.
exacerbate and get worse. So that's why,
When
like,
it
I
could
listen
be
to my body.
curable or,
Yes, exactly. That's why I
yeah,
listen to my body. I was like,
manageable.
okay, it's 7 days. I'm still not feeling well. That should have been enough time to or whatever. But,
Yep.
it's probably like upper GI stuff. Like, so thank God, like nothing showed like in the belly that was something that would be,
Yeah.
life threatening at the time. So it's like, okay, now I have to get some other stuff, some other tests. Cause when you go, they always look at other stuff and then they're like, oh, what about this? And so even stuff that I wasn't going there for. Them like, you should go
Yeah.
look at this. So I do need to go get some MRIs and I'm going to prioritize that for Tuesday or Wednesday. But I was like, okay, where's some other things that it's time for me to do? I think I'm right at the time to get my mammogram done. So I'm going to schedule that. It's been a year, so it's time to get that done. So we got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great, great encouragement. Very real, and thanks for sharing your journey on that because
Yeah,
it
sure.
it it can some people needed to hear it, and I know I do too, and
Yeah,
again, like I said, it's like fear of like, "Well, what if it's something?"
yeah,
But
yeah,
like you said, it's better to know what it is and get it taken care of.
exactly. I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's our way to give our body feedback. And,
Yeah.
I'm always preaching about how important feedback is, and you wanna have continuous feedback, and you're having you wanna make sure you're doing it in real time, like, same
Yeah.
thing, you gotta do with your bodies, like, you gotta give your feedback. You doing all these check-ins is a good way to give your body feedback, so you kinda look at it from that lens. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and
Yeah.
definitely, taking heed, so
Yeah, I also think too, like, you know, our spiritual health is so important. I should have led with that because all things, like, for me, it's
start
important
there.
that I get back in check with, for me, I'm not a super religious person, but
Neither am I.
I am grounded in my faith and, my belief, and everyone's different, and that's okay. Like, that's why we're all special. Like, we all have our different beliefs, and this is mine. Um, and it's important for me that I have a personal relationship with God. And I think that's more important to me than religion. So I want to get connected. And the way to have a personal relationship for me is prayer and reading the word. And that's something that I said, well, wow, like I'm falling off and I need to make sure that I get better connected with the Lord and get my spiritual health back in check.
Yeah, it's so funny because my younger sibling, shout out to Mikey,
Hey, Mikey.
reminded me, he's been in his word a lot lately, and
Yes, Mikey.
been posting things on social media, and I'm just kinda, like, proud of him for that too, so, like, he reminded
Mhm.
me, like, just to get back and, like, read, get in touch, and I'm not super religious either in terms of organized religion and going to church, although sometimes I do get the urge to, like, "Damn, I wish I had a good church to go to."
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Um, so yeah, I'm with you. I definitely think that getting back in touch with your spirituality, sometimes obviously life just goes and goes and goes. We have meetings, we have this, we have that, we have podcasts, we're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And prayer sometimes, gets lost until we need it. And so I think it's very important to, thank God and pray and talk to him even when things are not going bad, but when they're going good.
Yes.
Um, because
Even
that's shows your faithfulness.
Yeah, even if it's showing appreciation, it's just like any relationship, communication, we talk about that is the core of any relationship, the core
Yeah.
pillar of to make a relationship successful. So for me, I question myself and say, how can I have a successful relationship with the Lord if I don't talk to him? So I do need to step my game up and pray more. So that's what I have to do. I also think it's a great time too, like, how I feel, like, if you're sitting at a table and you're not being served respect, it's time to put the fork down and the plate and flip it over and be like, "Goodbye, see ya, I'm going to another table." So,
Yep.
that's in many different aspects. It's like your job. Like, you think about this, and you guys you've heard this 1,000 times. We spend so much time with our with our jobs in our jobs,
Yeah.
more than we do anything, more than our families, more because we're worked so many hours, like the traditional 8-hour day. That what is that? I laugh at that. Like that's like I don't know the last time I
The
worked
joke.
for a day. Like
I
please,
don't think I've ever worked that kind
yeah,
of
it just
job.
just
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. But I say that because what we got 24 hours in a day, and you're devoting at least half of that and more to work. And think about that. Like think how much time that you are pouring into your job, right? a shout out to all those entrepreneurs, or what did Denise to say? What's the other way to say if it's entrepreneurs and something else?
Self-employed.
Yep. See, she did correct us, and if you guys we gotta go check out Nita. First of all, she's a little hottie, and
She is a hottie.
she is a hottie, and she always has really good feedback. So we had her on our pod a while ago. We got to bring her back, I think.
It was a live one too, so
Yeah,
it
so
was
make sure you
really
guys
good.
go check out Nisa. She's
Lisa
bad.
Coates.
She's
Yeah.
bad, but she did explain the difference. So now I try to be more mindful about saying for those of you who are self-employed and those
Uh-huh.
of you who are entrepreneurs, like shout out to you because you're doing what you need to do or what you love to do and what fuels
Yeah,
you. But for those of us who are working for someone other than ourselves,
yeah,
we got to make sure that this is where we're supposed to be, right? And I was thinking a lot about that because oftentimes is like we are so hyper focused on what the job provides to us. So rather it be a salary, rather it be networking, whether it be, the sexiness of it, because sometimes, we worked in sports and the sports is sexy as hell. So sometimes it's that the glim and the glamour is all of those things that we enjoy,
yeah,
that really kind of connects us to our employers. But at the same time, it's like, you got to start asking yourself questions like, am I being respected here? Am I being appreciated here? Am I being supported here? Is there some upward trajectory here? And if those questions are not yes, 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 then it's time for us to start planning to do something else. And I'm not saying just go quit your job today. I am
right.
saying have a plan so that you're working and pouring in your heart and your soul to somewhere that's filling your cup as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think the hardest part even with that is, um, knowing when to go, when to make a transition, when to kinda if you see, the respect not being served at that table,
Mhm,
what's
mhm.
the right timing? And there is no right timing, just like with parenting, right? Or like
Yeah,
with, becoming a parent. Like sometimes you just gotta take the risk and really, like you said, really, really be honest with yourself and assess the situation and make a decision, put a date on it or something like that to kind of understand like what you have to do in order to create that momentum that you need in order to like make the transition. And I
yeah,
think it's super scary. It's super
very.
scary. Um and yeah, it's almost too like you get used to the disrespect,
Yeah,
and it's like you just
and that's
brush it
hard
off and
when
like,
you start getting
you know,
used to that
I
because
know.
when you keep and this is like anything else where you're getting disrespect, rather when you're feeling disrespected, and when you're disrespected, like it's smacking you across the face, like,
Yeah.
you
Or
know,
it's tapping you on the silently, like, it's
yeah,
not
it's
like
like,
harsh, but it's like
hello,
a nudge. Yeah.
hello, hello, you know,
Hello, something's here, something's here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what happens is almost like when you keep lifting weights and it hurts your fingers and you just get the callus. I got some on my hand.
Yeah, the
You get
calluses.
the little calluses and you're like, okay, because your skin knows that it's going to keep going through that and it's going to toughen up for you to allow you to be able to lift it without hurting yourself. So you get
Yeah.
those little
And you're still gonna
nuggets.
get something from it, even
Yeah.
though you're, like, getting the calluses. So you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta power through, gotta just
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure."
Yeah. But you get used to that. Like
Yeah.
you start accepting it is something that is right when you know damn well that it's not. And we get used
Right.
to it. And we also get comfortable too, because look, trying to prepare for what's next is timely and it's a lot of work. So sometimes it's easy, like figure that out later. I'll think about it when I have more time. You could want to get into that kind of like self-employed or entrepreneur mindset. You're like, yeah, I'll do it later.
Yeah,
You
down the
might,
line.
yeah, exactly. You see another company that you want to work for, you're like, network later. And it's like, we got to stop putting off things for tomorrow that you need to do today. You guys heard that 1,000 times. Like,
Yeah.
do what you need to do today and start at least. strategizing. Like that's something about me. Like I think one of my skill sets is like I'm a true strategist. I'm always thinking ahead. And,
Yeah.
I think that's super important to start preparing for what's next. And I'm guilty of it myself. Sometimes I stay in places way too long when I know that it's time for me to bounce. And, because I'm like uh, a creature of habit and change is very difficult for me,
Yeah.
and sometimes I don't like that, and I have to become my own disruptor in my life in order to get to success. So be your own disruptor. And
I
part
love
of
it.
that is disrupting the space that is zapping all your energy and you're not getting a damn thing poured in your cup. It's like, okay, it's time for me to plan a device to get out of here. That
Yeah,
time.
because money isn't everything. It's a
No,
lot, but it's not everything.
it matters,
It matters, and I
but
would say,
not
like,
all.
I've struggled with in the past, just when you get to a certain place in your career, not having that fire lit anymore, and, you can just do things with ease,
Mhm.
and there's, like, no purpose to, like, wake up in the morning.
Mm.
So, like, once you get to that too, so, yes, when respect is not being served, but also that self-fulfilling thing that's not there
You're not
anymore.
being fulfilled.
You're not being
Yeah.
fed, like you said, even, and that's a decision.
Mhm.
That's a you problem, right? That's
Oh,
a me
yeah.
problem. That's a T
Oh, yeah.
problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
You're
does
responsible for
this?
you. You are
Yeah,
responsible for you.
exactly, exactly. Like, even if respect is not being served, it's not their problem. It's your problem,
Yeah, I don't care.
because we all have the ability to make the decisions on what we're gonna do. And I always know too, like, it will figure itself out. And it's more about, like you said, the strategy part. Do a good job of thinking about the strategy so you can execute, so you can feel good about the decisions that you made, whether you have something lined up or you're taking, a little, sabbatical for a little while, trying to get in touch with whatever, is inside of you. So
Yeah.
I think those are good check-ins to kind of go through, good exercises. I'm probably gonna go through a couple of those after we get off this
Yeah, I know. You're gonna
this
be no, you're the journaling
I am a
queen.
journaling
So
queen.
I know you're gonna be like, time to journal. Yep.
Yep.
What are different things that you need to prioritize
Right.
based on our discussion today? So you're very action oriented. So I already know.
Yeah, cause my mind doesn't shut off too, so, like, if I get, like,
Yeah.
this, like, spark, then I'll just
Yeah.
have to, like, obsess over that for as long as I can obsess over it. Like I told you, like, every week I text T, cause 'cause I'm going on my to-do list on Sunday, and I'm like, "Hey, T, going down my to-do list, what do you think? What do you think?" And she's like, "Okay, I got an update for you." So, like, again, my mind is always
Mhm.
just thinking and thinking and thinking so I can cross things off my list.
Yes. Can't stop.
So
Can't turn it
yeah,
off.
exactly.
Um, Also too, like I know some of us, I don't. I try to just have goals, but some of us, at the beginning of the year, we're like, here's our New Year's resolution. Here's all the things we want to accomplish. And, go back to that list. Go if you're a journalist like like Shay,
LaShayla.
like LaShayla, go back to your list. Go back to the things that you said that you wanted to accomplish for 2023. What did you say you wanted to get done? Have you? Are you halfway there? Are you, submit your check in? Oh, Shay got her notebook with her list, her laundry list. Like, how many things can you check off or cross out? You could put the check mark, the check box
Yes.
closed, right? So or put a check mark next to it. Whatever it is your way to identify that you've accomplished that task. Have you? How are you doing? How are you making out with your list?
Right. And why is it important to do it? It's important for the progression, right,
Mm,
of your life,
yeah,
for
yeah,
your existence, your being, your ability to wake up every day and be motivated,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
To
yeah.
have, like, set
Self-motivation.
goals on paper
Yeah.
with timelines and dates
Mhm.
is more action oriented than just saying you wanna do something.
Yeah. How many times you say it and it doesn't mean anything? You gotta make sure that you memorialize that thing and
Ooh,
you take
yeah.
pen to paper and
Yep.
you say, I am going to look I'm drooling, sorry. I have such a little drilling mouth. You know what? Please don't run with that. People who are naughty. Um
If it wasn't you, they wouldn't run with it. I mean, yeah, did I say that right? Because it's you, they are gonna run with it.
anyway, but How many times are you gonna say you're gonna do something and you don't get it done? So you
Yeah,
gotta memorialize it. You gotta write it down. You gotta set timelines on when you want to accomplish it by. So that way you can hold yourself accountable. Like you have to hold yourself accountable for the things that you want to accomplish. You must do that. How many of us said that we were going to prioritize, eating healthy and committing to a healthy lifestyle and saying we're going to, especially around like December, everyone get like jacked. Like, I am going to work out 5 days a week. I'm going to work out and do all these things. And then life takes over, like it does all the time in our lives. And those things get pushed back. So, what are you doing, folks? What's up, tippers? Are you doing what you said you were going to do? If exercise is something that you wanted to prioritize this year, are you working out? And or you movement is all what it's about. Like, are you getting off our little backsides, getting off our butts, and getting some movement in? You're getting that movement
like
in?
like my friend said yesterday, she said it was her birthday, and she put on her story, "Dear Lord, unbig my back." She's been working out, but she was basically saying, "Unbig my back," and I just thought, hilarious, and she's like, "No,
Hilarious.
seriously, that's, like, the only thing I'm." 'Cause she just had 2 kids too, so, once you have kids, you're, like, trying to do everything you can to
Yeah.
snap back, and sometimes it's like,
Okay.
this is your new
This
body and your new
is your
life.
new norm. You gotta embrace it or lay down. The nip and tuck is there for a reason. Don't be shy. You know what? Shay and
I knew
I
you were
did
gonna
a
say that.
why not? Shay and I did an episode on, you know, we're against plastic surgery. So are you? I'm about doing whatever it is that brings happiness into your life
Right,
safely. So don't go
safely.
to some country that may not do things according to
Right,
our health practices to save money to get something done. Like, please, like,
right.
go to a reputable board certified plastic surgeon who knows what they're doing. Do your research. Don't
I
lay
was
under
about to
the
say,
knife with just anyone. Like, take your health serious enough that you
don't
want
do
to
it.
look good, but you want to wake up too to experience all whatever you're getting done. So go to the right person. Don't just try to cut corners with your health like that. Like you could look good, but being alive is more important than in your mind think what you need to do because we're all beautiful
Right,
and we think about all things that we want to try to kind of fit certain stigmas or what we think we should look like and we beat ourselves up so much but
mhm.
don't beat yourself up to the point that you're willing to die for it some crazy way because you're not
Yeah.
trying to take the proper precautions.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm kind of experiencing, watching my loved ones, my younger loved ones in my life,
Mhm.
go through some identity stuff, like
Yeah.
not liking what they look like,
Yeah.
not thinking that they're beautiful.
Yeah,
Um,
that's tough because social media
Social media.
is a way that we see. And look, I learned this. Not everyone looks like their pictures. Like I just learned how that people have filters. I was like, oh my gosh, because you know me, T is always like 12 steps behind social media. It turns around to be I'm like, oh my god, you could turn a filter on and look like that.
Yep, I'm guilty. I'll be putting
I'm
that
like,
filter on real
right.
quick.
So I just learned that there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with filters, like make yourself thinner, do all this stuff. And I didn't know that you could do that. That's pretty cool. So I say that the preface is that don't think that you see all these like lovely Instagram models and all these folks on Instagram, you're like, oh, I want to look like that. It's like, they may not look like that in person. And at the end of the day, love you. You are unique and special for a way. God has made you in his image to be something special and embrace what you have. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you can't make changes. So again, like everything is about health. So you got to live a healthy lifestyle to live, right? So eat eat healthy, have some movement. If you want to get a little lift and a little drop, little suck out, um, go for it safely.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And it's definitely one of those things too where looks are so like arbitrary. Like it's just like you don't it's who you are, how you permeate, like
Yes, your
your
energy,
relation your energy, your
your
relationship with your
confidence.
with your but it's comes from the relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Talking to yourself, loving yourself, treating yourself.
Yeah. No,
That
that's
permeates, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, and then
Absolutely.
all the nips and tucks or whatever you get done are bonuses, are extra, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Extra
So,
credit.
extra credit.
You know who I love? I love Lizzo because Lizzo loves all her beautiful thickness. She's beautifully thick and she is gorgeous and she loves it all.
Yep,
And
and
she
she's
owns it. And
unapologetic
she's
about it.
confident. She's like, "Yep, y'all want I like to get naked. If y'all don't like it, so what? Don't come to my concerts, but I'm taking these clothes off and I love how I look. I look good." So,
And
shout
she
out to
advocates for
Lizzo.
people, like,
Go
all kinds
Lizzo.
of people, so I do love
Yes.
her too for those
Yeah.
reasons.
Confidence. Everything
Yeah,
is like confidence goes a long way, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah, it's the relationship with yourself
Yeah.
that will
Amen.
permeate other people. Yeah,
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So look, tippers, it's that time of the year. Do your mid-year check-in. Are you meeting your expectations? Are you prioritizing the right things in your life? If you can make a change as simple as hitting the restart button and getting it done. So let's make sure that we're doing that. And make sure that you're continuing to follow Tip in the Scales wherever you get your podcast. Bye.
happy mid-year check-in.
See you later.